This is the third installment of video on plants, and this Silver Queen is about, I'd say, 10 years old, and it's a combination of two species of the Silver Queen. As you can see, the lighter, sort of a light green and a dark green, and they grow extremely well together. And this plant actually will take on a different shape altogether as it gets taller. It needs to be repotted, but I'm thinking about getting one of those tall, regular size Rubbermaid trash cans with wheels and turn it into a planter, and probably a dark blue color or something like that. And because it's hard to find really large flower pots. This plant, believe it or not, is maybe 7 or 8 years old, but it used to be like really thick, and it went through a transitional phase. And this, I think it's called a scandapsis, I believe, if that's correct. That clock is not correct. I just use that clock for the fluorescent lighting. This plant, you'll be able to see its offspring. Because this plant, this scandapsis, I think that's what it's called, used to be like tall, and I cut a piece of it off. I broke it off right at that point. See, I broke it, and then it just grew an extension out of there. Now the part that I broke off, I'll show you that in a minute. This plant here is doing real well. I have it on crates. Now the idea is for it to get thick enough, because I keep clipping it from the bottom. The idea is for it to get thick enough where you won't really notice the crates, because I know the crates are kind of an odd color. I would prefer wooden crates, and at some point I may switch that over. This I have growing, and it's actually taped to the stairwell rail. You can't really see it. That's the idea, not to see the tape. And it's been growing quite well in that $2 vase that I bought from the dollar store. And as it grows thicker, the idea is for it to grow down and come on down further and further. This little baby here is in the pothos family, philodendron family maybe. It's sitting on a bookshelf that I made out of a 10-gallon aquarium. That's a 10-gallon aquarium with books in it. And I turned it into a bookshelf / plant stand / aquarium. It's one of my favorites. It's been around a while, and it's went through a number of phases. As you can see, she's a beauty. This has been in this wine bottle for 8 years maybe. Now, the initial goal was to make this a terrarium. I had a top on it and everything, but it just didn't go right. So I was gonna, I was like, well, this is not working. As you can see, the dirt is all up on the side of it and stuff, and it just didn't go right. So I was eventually gonna throw it away. But I set it aside. I think I put it outside for a while and just forgot about it. And then I noticed it start growing out of the top. And it's been growing out of the top. As you can see, that's new growth right there. Excuse me. It's been growing out of the top for quite some time. I've even trimmed it from the bottom. As you can see, I need to get that little yellow part off of it though. But I trimmed it from the bottom. And the more you trim a plant from the bottom, the thicker it gets. And but it's doing really well. This needs to be repotted. Just a combination pothos. It needs to be repotted. It's in a small pot. This is in water, of course. Can't go wrong when you root a plant in water, and you can leave it in there as long as you want, really. And here's another project. I have I just potted this. This just came out of water. It was in water, and I put it transferred it to a pot with soil. New growth there. This is offspring of Inez. You've seen Inez in other videos, who's a Madagascar tree rather. And this is also a different species of the Madagascar. This is the offspring of Inez as well. This is new growth here at the top, believe it or not. I broke this stem off, cut it off, and this is an offshoot from the stem, as you can see. It doesn't take very long for this thing. This is probably about maybe, I'd say 3 months of growth, where it went from a little part coming out to what it is now. See? Very pretty. These plants here. Ponytail palm. It's been around a while, but you can't tell by looking at it. This is a project. I'm not going to even talk about that. It's not doing well, though. This has been around 4 or 5 years, maybe. And my Alocasia poly. This thing has been around for a while. It's never gotten as thick as I wanted to get, but it's getting there now. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that new growth right there. See that? See that right there? You can't really see it, but it's called the Alocasia poly, or elephant ears. Sort of a slang name. That's another, in the Philodendron pothos family. They have several like that. And the same thing here. My little birdhouse turned into a planter. It's really thick. It's really got thick. Here's a project. I'm going to skip over my desk because I need to clean it. I'm actually on my lunch break. I have it. That is a... it escapes me. It'll come back to me. But it's been around a while, but it really hasn't bloomed in like 2 or 3 years. Ooh, what is the name of that plant? It's a beautiful plant you get at the grocery store. Let me get closer. It does have some new growth on it. Not doing well though. I'm gonna buy another one of those actually. Here's my friend. He's shy. There you go. This beta fish, Siamese fighting fish, has been living for a couple of years, and it's kind of old for. I change the water about once every couple of weeks, if not more. That's a plant upstairs is huge. That's the offspring of that. I don't know the name of that plant. There's another offspring. Don't know the name of it. If anyone knows the name of it, please let me know. Can't really see it too good. Now this thing is really growing. And it's in the Philodendron family as well. Heart-shaped leaves. See the new growth there? And this is growing out. Every time I walk, I have a little plant trail going to my desk. I almost have to, it's like a forest. Ponytail palm, doing really well. You can see it doing well. Well, it's better from a distance. All right, let's go to the dining area. And there's Inez. We want to have all those babies. Inez is about 25 years old. And the sunlight is coming through, so you really can't see these really well. Now, the Scandapsus that I mentioned that I cut off, that's it there, see? Look at that. Put it in there. And it's really growing too. Growing. See, the idea is for it to grow and just come down here. Just keep coming down. That's the idea. Another offspring of Inez. Yeah. Just put it in water and it blooms. I mean, it doesn't bloom, it grows. It roots, and then you can put it in soil once it takes root. Bamboo, Chinese bamboo. This is an interesting plant. It grows upwards. It doesn't grow outward. I forget the name of it. I may have it here. Nah, I don't have it. There you go. Pretty plant though, really pretty. Got this from farmer's market. And just put it in a vase. And got another vase. They're there, see? I'm gonna put in this vase are really the vases, vases, whatever. They're really tall, and got them from Walmart. His mother-in-law's tongue is doing well. That was an aquarium, actually. As you can see, I got gravel in the bottom, soil in the middle, just like that. And yeah, partly Inez, partly another species of the Madagascar. And this is interesting. In the Pothos family. That's all hanging, and it's found this at Home Depot for like $5. This hanging thing, a pot holder that holds 3 pots. You know, and so that's water. Got the cup sitting inside the holder, and then the glass inside the holder or inside the cup, filled with water. It's coleus in there. Pothos, two species of pothos. There's Wilson. Wilson's been around for a long time. What's up, Wilson? Yep, Wilson. About 20 years old. I had Wilson on my desk. I worked for AT&T for like the last 10 years or so. Beanie Bear. And Wilson's worth a lot of money, but he's not going anywhere. Yep, Beanie Bear, Wilson. And that's pretty much it. Now the other plants are upstairs, but it's not really presentable, so we'll be signing off.